We're
going to talk
now?
about Sophos. Yeah,
still
God,
not.
Jesus, Mike hasn't been non-stop for the whole episode.
I don't know how many times you cut me off. How many times can you cut a person off in one segment?
That's a good question,
10,
John.
20 times?
At least once more, Mike. I mean, Jesus. Anyway, Mike is obsessed with this Sophos cybersecurity co-pilot thing. And basically, me and John sit quiet for as long as the episode is and let him rant on. Wait, where's it? Which direction? That way. Yeah. That way. Check it out.
Are we recording?
Yes. Yes, we are.
Oh.
I was just double checking. Like,
yeah.
Yep.
I mean, I often have problems with that. So I feel like you may be mocking me slightly, John.
No.
Okay.
Yeah, I was just making sure. I just wanted to confirm with Mike that we are, in fact, still right now live.
Feel free to go ahead and start the show anytime, guys.
Yeah, okay, all right. So this is Sophos have demonstrated how to make ChatGPT a cybersecurity co-pilot. And what they mean by this is that it sits alongside traditional researchers and helps, basically, a bit like GitHub Copilot, where it kind of assists you with code completion and explaining comments and turning, adding bits in for you. But
GitHub Copilot is actually the name of the product.
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. Thank you. Good clarification there, John. It's actually called GitHub Copilot, and this is just
a generic Copilot.
Yeah.
Maybe they'll call it security Copilot, Sophos Copilot. Anyway, go on.
Yeah. I think this was sent to me by someone else, like my brother. If it's you, hi, hey, bro. If it was someone on Discord, then hi, bro. But anyway, I think this is an ideal use of GPT because it's a kind of automating common tasks, using GPT to do sort of common thinking for you, looking at stuff and making sure that you kind of, like being an editor almost. Like, as a cybersecurity professional, sometimes I will go back to something I've looked at before and go, duh, like, how did I miss that? Right. And having a bot to look at things with you is a good way to not miss stuff that's kind of simple and on the surface. So
so I think two things scare me about calling ChatGPT's API and asking it to do things for you. So one is that you're really trusting a company with your data, and like now it's like a lot of data because we're talking about endpoint telemetry, like syslogs, like a crazy amount of events that are being ingested by your SIM or whatever.
And you're giving it data and asking the questions also. If I ask GPT, how do I treat my syphilis? I have now told GPT that I have syphilis.
That you have syphilis. Perfect example.
Right.
So like,
how do I disclose a security breach for my company, which absolutely did not just happen?
Exactly. So should you cover up a security breach? Like, no, but blindly trusting. So what I'm getting to is that the next step should be a self-hosted solution for a closed loop. Absolutely. Where they just hand you the model and you get to trained and you get to just fucking lock it up. No outside communication, only, allowed to ingest data.
Is trained the helpful part of that?
Yeah, because you've got to. I think so.
Well, if you can't train it, because you can't train it yourself, you just don't have enough data, I don't think. So,
I mean, a lot of companies probably do.
So I think there's a couple of interesting things that are happening. Sorry, go on, John.
No, please. Go.
I feel like what's happening, because another announcement this week was that NVIDIA have released their AI GPU, which is weird because I thought GPU stand for graphics processing unit.
It does stand for graphics processing unit, but they are sick.
So is that AI graphics?
A lot of things. Nope.
It's an AI GPU.
So you know how, God, you're such a smartass. You know how, okay.
Thanks.
Get the button ready. You know how people mine on GPUs, crypto mine on GPUs?
Okay.
GPUs are really good at doing a bunch of things at the same time. So another thing GPUs are really good at is brute forcing passwords, hash passwords, or hashes, and just like trying to decrypt, basically. And the same type of thought is that GPUs can be really good at ingesting a lot of data and processing it. So they're really good for training, and I'm not well versed in this at all. So I'm maybe someone who is an AI expert who's watching can weigh in, correct us,
comment,
join our Discord,
subscribe,
or tell us if we're idiots. Most likely we all are. But yeah, you're right. GPUs are like, and this has been like a long thing. NVIDIA has been working on AI, and their cards have been, specifically designed for AI for a long time. Like, this is not new.
So I think that it's a bit like when id Software created Doom, and then Voodoo came by, and a whole industry was built off of like. So I think there's going to be hardware specific stuff that will enable self-hosted versions of these large language models.
Yeah,
but then the thing is that they're actually
farms.
Yeah, there's a lot of tutorials that I've seen in the last week or two that have been about like running GPT-3 on, or something similar size on my MacBook Air M1, which is kind of bonkers. It's not like it's sort of at the limit right now where you can't have the whole model, and I think if it was any like GPT-4 is too much, but yeah, give it a couple of years, and I think self-hosted AIs will be the norm.
I mean, they're going to be on our phones,
right?
Like, yeah. It's just like how Siri is fairly self-contained currently on the iPhone. I think that there's going to be two approaches, just like we're seeing with assistants today. We have Google, which takes every call gets pushed to the Google Cloud. So by call, I mean you ask Google to do something. Well, it's not going to happen locally. But Apple took the opposite approach, which is why Siri is just inherently shittier, which is that anything Siri can do on the device, it's going to do on the device. It will not try. It will stay as compartmentalized as possible because privacy.
Right. But to go back to the cybersecurity copilot thing, this was really cool, right? So one of the things I think AI can do better than we can, well, I say better than we can, but I'm not sure. I think brains are humans are like designed as pattern matching machines. Basically, that's how we kind of live, is pattern matching and generalizations, and that's why we have imperfect memories and things like that. But I think that AIs would be particularly good about throwing a shit ton of data at and saying, what's weird about this, and just asking it generally, like, what's weird. So the problem we have a lot in cybersecurity at the moment is that you've got to figure out how to define what is weird. So there's like signature-based things where you go through a bunch of data or log lines, and you say anything that doesn't match this particular pattern, and you define exactly what that pattern is. And if you get
that's an inherently that's a flawed system. What you just described is super flawed, because you cannot 100% guarantee that the baseline you're creating, right, for these alerts, for these flags in cybersecurity, are true or sound. So that is just the best way to do it, is we're fairly confident we're not currently breached. Here's the baseline of like your everyday normal operations on the infrastructure and endpoint side for all of these logs that are being aggregated in some sort of log platform, like a SIM.
So now, the nice thing about go on.
No, please. Go.
As I say, the nice thing about a model and where we're at right now in GPT and ChatGPT is you can just say, what's weird about this? And it will just kind of tell you, and you don't have to really
say, and then you can say, no, but that's not weird. And it'll be like, okay,
exactly.
Noted.
Say, no, that's fine. Don't worry about those kind of things. Those are just this particular thing.
That is normal. And you really get to refine it. Another cool thing that I wanted to talk about, because this brings it all the way back to our first GPT episode.
Oh, God. I don't remember that.
I'm sure I made, of course, such a sick call. So I'm so smart. In this article, it mentions how this is going to be really good for spam filters.
Yeah.
It's going to be really good as a spam filter today.
Yeah.
And what I said in that first because we were talking about how to manipulate GPT, how to break through the barriers, and I mentioned how the next stage of hacking is not going to be some dude in a hoodie in a dark room in front of 30 monitors. It's going to be a guy or gal who are outsmarting or outwitting a model. And this is exactly what's going to happen with these spam filters, right? You deploy a spam filter that's using something like ChatGPT. And now, instead of trying to get through traditional spam filters, you have to convince ChatGPT that you're not spam, which is so fucking cool. And kind of like it has opened a whole new part of the threat landscape. And I think it's very interesting.
And then it'll just be GPT versus GPT.
No, shut up, Mike. You've been talking too much.
Yeah, that's a good. So
I'm sorry.
All this talk of pattern recognition actually reminded me of this.
Classic.
So is this actually the problem the meme implies it is? And why is it so hard for computers to tell the difference? Is it just a matter of the training set?
Well, it's hard for humans to tell the difference as well, isn't it?
I think we can figure it out.
Look at every picture. You can look at every picture and say muffin, chihuahua, muffin, chihuahua, chihuahua, muffin, and continue and go and go and go. Yeah. But I think that it's just enough of a similarity for a computer model to be like, well,
but is
80%.
Is that just a matter of the sample size? If you train it on enough of these, it'll figure those out too.
Maybe. I think if you also give it, like, if you train it on what to look for, like the fact that a dog will have certain patterns versus, even though that third row middle to the left there, that chihuahua, that could not even be a dog.
Third row.
See, the thing about AI and computers, right?
This one? Oh,
you can't see third row middle. Third row middle.
For this particular example,
the fourth of the third row from the left.
That's not working.
It might be quite clear from these particular images, right? But I've seen a lot of those optical illusions where, like spot the leopard or spot the snow leopard.
Sure.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Where we can't figure out where the thing in the picture is. But an AI, you can just keep throwing money and hardware at it and bigger models. It's probably going to get better than we are at some point, which is kind of exciting and cool. I like that thing you were talking about with Siri, and it like does everything on the. I've read a lot of sci-fi books where you detach like an avatar from the mainframe, and it goes off around space, and then when it comes back, it reintegrates its memories into the. I want one of those.
I mean, that's the kind of things that's very like, which we're sort of doing now, right? We're just never coming back. We're just beaming the data, but like with all these super duper far away lone satellites that are just floating out there, like that's sort of what they're doing, but they're never coming back. But yes, the same idea is going to be, and I think that the same idea is going to happen for like reconnaissance, right? A country at war will be using something like this to send out a little guy, a little friend that will go collect intel, come back and report what it found, and it will give you highlights, right? It will discard shit that isn't important and highlight the things that are important, like, I don't know, number of
scams, nukes, IEDs.
Sure. Right.
Yeah.
So, or like in disaster, in like real life, like disaster recovery of like people, like during a natural, like like a tsunami or an earthquake, like being able to send in little cockroach drones that know the difference between a human and a live human and
can they look like something other than cockroaches though? Because I really don't like cockroaches.
Can they look like little Rolly Pollies, little guys?
I don't
like
know.
Friends?
Like crabs, maybe. Crabs I could deal with. Spiders are okay, actually.
What about bees?
I don't mind spiders.
Can they look like bees? Now we're really
bees, but not flies. Definitely not flies.
No, but bumblebees specifically.
Bumblebees, yeah, little fluffy bumblebees.
Actually, they're so cute.
They are
such friends.
Happy collecting data about us and reintegrating with the hive mind.
With the hive mind. Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. That's
right,
good.
okay.
We're onto something.
Shut up, Mike. Jesus Christ. Go on.
So yeah, I think we're gonna see a lot of evolutions with cybersecurity and ChatGPT and other derivatives. We'll be here. We'll be here to talk about it, make jokes, and have Mike speak too much.
God, he just would not shut up, would he? My God, Mike.